So now that we know how to add, select, move, and resize our tables, let's take a look at styling tables as well as different table options we have in Pages. Let's go to Pages. So we have our table here that we just added. What I would like to do is I would like to have a similar style to what we have in our table on page 2. In this table we have an orange header row. We also have a table name. Let's go back over to our new table. So I want to have a similar style with this table. How do we go and style this table? First thing we have to do is we have to just go and click on the table itself. So I'm going to go and click on this cell. It doesn't matter where we click on it as long as we have something selected in our table. So let's click on it. Our cell is selected. Now that the cell is selected, I can go and style the table. To style it, we go up to Table in the upper right-hand corner. Our first option is Table Styles. We have a number of different presets that we can choose from. I'm going to go with our orange header here. When I select this, it's going to apply a style to this table. So let's select it. And now we can see we have the orange header. Now the nice thing about these table styles is we can go and save our own style, which we'll talk about towards the end of the video. Let's go and make some changes first, and then we'll go and save that style. Below table styles we have headers and footers. Now right now our table is set to have one header column, one header row, and a footer row. This is what I want. If I want to go and make any changes here, I can just go and select how many headers and footers we want to show on the table. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in another video. Below that we have table name. I want to go and add a table name to this. So I select this, and now we have Table 1. So I'm going to triple click in here to select all the text, and we'll call this Events. Now being that it is text, I can go and style this text. Let's go back over to Table. Now if you notice, I have the name called Events. This is what the name of the other table is. You can't have two tables that are the same name. Watch what happens when I click outside here. I'm going to click outside. It goes back to Table 1. That's because the other table name is called Events. So you can't have two tables that have the exact same name. So let's go ahead and triple click in here, and we'll call this Tulip Time Events. And now when I click outside, you can see it kept that name. So if you have multiple tables in your document, you can't have them be the exact same name. Let's see what other options we have with our table. Select a cell. We can also go and adjust the table font size. Now this is going to adjust all of the text in your table. Let's go back over to page 2. We have a lot of text in this table here. So let's go and select a cell, and we're going to go over to Table Font Size, and I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller. Now watch the text in the table. All of the text, including the title, the X's, and the categories on the left side, they're all getting smaller. If I go and click on the larger A, all the text is getting larger. So that's how you can resize all of the text in your table. Let's go back over to page 3. Click on our table. We also have grid lines. Now these are the lines in between your rows and columns. Now right now we have grid lines showing in between our rows. I want to have them showing in between our columns. If we look here, we don't have any grid lines in between our columns. To show them, I click on the right button here. I'm going to click on it, and now we have grid lines. We also have grid lines for our headers and footers. If we look at the header here, which is the first row on our table, we don't have any grid lines in the header. I would like to add them. We also don't have any grid lines in our footer. We go back over to the right here, and I'm going to go and click on these, and now we have grid lines in our header, and we have grid lines in our footer. Alternating row color. If we leave this on, what it's going to do is it's going to alternate the colors of the rows. I usually leave this on. Let's go ahead and turn this off and see how this looks with our table. I'm going to turn it off. And now you can see all of the rows are the same color. I like to leave alternating row color on. Makes it a little bit easier to see our rows. Now if we wanted to change the color of that alternating row, we can go and change the color. We can also go and change the row and column size. This is going to be the size of the actual row or the column. How tall is the row or how wide is the column? If we want it to fit the text, then we click on Fit. We can also just go and type in a number. And then we also have Resize Rows to Fit Cell Contents. We're going to go back over to page 2. I have market plots here. This is actually marketplace. That's the Dutch word for marketplace. So I'm going to go and put in parentheses marketplace. Now watch what happens when I type this in. You can see that the row got a little bit taller. It is resizing based on the text. If I go and add more text, you can see it gets taller. This is what, when I go over to table here, this is what resize rows to fit cell contents means. Now this also coincides with, let's go back over to text, this also coincides with wrap text in cell. If we don't want to wrap the text in the cell, let's go ahead and turn this off, watch what happens. Marketplace now extends over the other columns. So if we want it to wrap the text in the cell and we don't want it to overlap other columns, we turn on Wrap Text in Cell under Text, and then we go to Table, and we resize rows to fit cell contents. Let's go back over to my page 3 here. So I've made some changes to this table. I mentioned earlier that we can save these style changes that I've made. Let's go and select a cell in our table. We just have to click on the table. And then we go over to Table Styles. And from here, I'm just going to click on the left arrow. We can also click on the right arrow. I'm going to click on the left arrow. To save this style and apply it to other tables, all I have to do is just click on the plus. And when I click on it, it adds it to my table styles. And I can go and apply the style to other tables. Now it doesn't save everything. It doesn't save the table name. So if I go and add another table, let's go and add another table. We'll go with our green one here. Let's move it up. And I'm going to go and apply that style. So let's go ahead and click on it. You can see it didn't add the table name. But all I have to do is just go and click on table name. And it added it. So once we make changes to our table, we can go and save that as our own style. Now if we control click on this, I'm going to hold down the control key and click on it. We have a few different options. I can apply this table style. I can clear the overrides and apply the style. I can redefine the style from the selection, so if I make changes, I can go and redefine it, and then I can also go and delete it. So that's how we modify our presets. We hold down the control key and click on it, and then we have a number of different options. So that's how we style our tables in Pages.